that's like watercolor brush or ink brush or something like that, and then download them. And then you guys might remember from last time how to install the brushes, but there they are. I'll just remind you, okay? So when you get into Photoshop, you're gonna go to BBrush, paintbrush, and then you're gonna click on, you're gonna click on the little down arrow up here, and then on the gear arrow right here, and then you're gonna do load brushes right here. Do you guys remember this? Okay. So here are my brushes in my downloads. Brushes are always a .abr file. So I'm gonna hit that, open it, and then it should already be installed below. So all these guys are the new watercolor brushes. Okay, so today we're working with the watercolor brushes, wrong thing, watercolor brushes and portraits. So we're going to use this stuff as inspiration for what we're going to do today. Okay, so basically, if you pull, we're just going to pull a portrait from the web. What should we pull a portrait of?
Chicken nugget.
A chicken nugget? Okay. Portrait. Let's see what there is for chicken. Okay, great. We'll use, let's see. We'll use this little guy. You do have good ideas. All right, so we're going to open this guy in Photoshop. And I want you guys to use portraits that you've already shot. So you're like reworking stuff you've already done. Okay, so here's our portrait. We've got our watercolor brushes installed. Now, the next thing that you need to know, which you don't really know yet, is how to make a layer mask. So I'm going to unlock this, this background layer. Oops. I just took the lock off by double clicking it. And then I'm going to put on a layer mask, which is this rectangle with a circle in it. Okay, so the thing you need to know about layer masks is that after you put one on, like this, white means visible and black means invisible. Okay, so just for the sake of beauty, I'm going to put a different layer underneath my portrait and layer mask, and I'm just going to color it a color. So I just did G paint bucket, and I just made it that weird yellow color. Okay, so I'm going to come click on this layer mask, and it's important to click on the white layer mask, not on the portrait. Okay, so when I click on the layer mask, my two colors over here switch to black and white, and you'll see that it's all white right now. So that means it's all visible. Okay, I'm going to do B brush and come pick one of my cool watercolor brushes. Actually, I think I'm going to start with my whole layer mask off. So I've got black right here. I'm going to go to G paint bucket, and I'm just going to turn the whole thing off. Okay, so do you see how the layer underneath is now just showing? Because this whole portrait layer is off. Okay, now I'll switch to B brush, and I'm going to come down and get one of my cool watercolor brushes. Okay, and they're like any other brush. Like you can make them bigger and smaller with brackets. And then to make it really, really watercolory, I'm going to turn my flow down to something a little bit lower, and maybe my opacity down to a little bit lower. So now I'm going to push X and switch colors to white. Now when I come paint in, do you see how that's happening? Let me turn this layer to white just so you can kind of see a little bit better. See how that's happening? Isn't that cool? So you can use this watercolor brush pack, which you guys can download too, came with a bunch of different colors, a bunch of different brushes. So you can come in, do that. And then for the inspiration pieces, where are they? Like, do you see how they've worked in like maybe some drawing just with colors too? So you can come over here and do new layers and pick maybe some colors to work with. And I like to fade the opacity and the flow down just so they're not so obvious. And you can work in like big splotches. Oops, where'd my brush go? I think it got too big. You can work in some colors like this. Or you can just use a regular brush. Or let's see, what's cool in here? I'll use this droplet-y brush. Oh, I can't see my brush. Oh, there it is. Okay, so then you could, or you can just play around with all the brushes and see what they do. Cool, huh? Okay, so that's it.